Picture this. It is fall 2006, and I'm just a 7-year-old kid in his first couple months of second grade. At the time, there were 3 things I definitely loved more than anything. Keebler's Fudge Stripes cookies, my family, and last but certainly not least, video games. I had already been playing video games for so long and so frequently that I couldn't even tell you the first time I learned how to even play them. With loving video games, it's a bit redundant to say that Hollywood Video was definitely my favorite place to go. Well, besides EB Games and KB Toys. My mom would take my siblings and I to Hollywood Video and we would rent something pretty often. This time though, it was just my mother and me. We went right around the time it opened that day, which was, I believe, typically 10 a.m., and although my memory's sort of fading me on certain particulars, I remember it being cold enough to wear a jacket. It was a dreary fall day in Washington, PA. Gray clouds and windy, which is honestly my kind of day nowadays.
Now that I think of it, maybe I'm confusing the beginning of the game with my real-life introduction to the game.
Anyway, during my visit, I was in one of the corners of the gaming section, which was about parallel to the entrance, and it was there that I found it. I couldn't tell you now what most likely pulled me in, but I have a feeling that the Rockstar Games logo did a lot to help with that. My experiences with Rockstar Games up until this point have been nothing but jaw-droppingly incredible.
They were, no pun intended, rock stars. They released controversial game after controversial game, but they were always breaking new ground in the medium of video games, and they still are, honestly.
For me though, personally, besides not being able to get past the 3rd mission in Max Payne, damn you Roscoe Street Station, I spent a decent amount of time watching my older brother play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Vice City, and GTA 3. And so, here their new game was. And that was the game I picked at the rental store that day. When I got home, I went to where the PS2 was held hostage, my brother's room in the attic, and I popped the game in. During that 5-day rental, I don't remember getting too far. I did get far enough to have the main character wear the Astronomy Club vest, a baseball cap, and 2 wristbands. I had a weird relationship with the game before I finally got to play it again, and that's probably because I really didn't have enough time to get a full opinion on it. But that all would change when my sister would end up getting it for Christmas that same year, where I very vividly remember saying as she revealed it to all of us, "That game is so stupid."
Way to be a good brother. Real nice. I was probably just jealous or just being a jerk, but probably both.
But after this Christmas, I would occasionally see my sister play it, which naturally made me cave, and I ended up buying my own copy of it with some of my Christmas money at the local FYE. And I also bought Urban Reign, which was a really sick Namco fighting game for the PS2 that I still can't find my copy of to this day, and I also bought the Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny soundtrack on CD. And although my sister and I fought a lot during this time of our young lives, this game was one thing that actually brought us closer together. You know, we were trying to see if the dorm room would change if we changed the PS2's internal clock, like in Simpsons Hit and Run when you could do that. Or, you know, we would look up how to get all of the posters in Jimmy's room on game FAQs. We had a great time together.
Except for when I had finally gotten all the way to Chapter 4 and accidentally deleted my save file, and in typical brother-sister fashion, she wouldn't let me get a copy of hers, and so I had to start all the way over from the beginning.
You know, I honestly wish I could remember the first time I beat the game, but I really can't. It was probably sometime in 2007, but what I always remember about this game is that the world was one that I couldn't get enough of, whether it be New Coventry, Old Bulworth, Vale, or Blue Skies Industries. Every day when I got home from school, there was this infectious bassline that played as I explored the town, the snowfall during Chapter 3, every hilarious algae encounter, the opportunity of putting a kick me sign on a fellow student's back on Halloween, of giving someone toilet paper because they ran out in their stall, of using the sick skateboard you unlock, and hell, even having to mow lawns as punishment by one of the prefects. I even remember getting to the Chapter 2 mission carnival date for the first time and becoming so insanely excited. "I'm going on a freaking carnival date," I exclaimed, with my mom's appropriate reply, "What?" coming from the other room. needless to say, she just didn't get it.
I'm pretty sure no other second graders were going on carnival dates in real life, but this game gave me the opportunity to do so, and it made me feel like I was in fact Jimmy Hopkins, a 15-year-old kid who tries to stop bullying, who's been expelled from anywhere halfway decent, and whose mom has been married 5 times. So, having replayed the game for the first time in 5 years this past summer, have my feelings changed? Well, kind of, but not really. I mean, if anything, replaying it made me laugh even harder at some moments than ever before, such as,
Sure. Are you English? Well, no. I just speak this way because I'm very insecure. You see, my father is a self-made man, so I pretend to be old money, but in fact, I'm really nouveau riche. But less about me, dear boy.
President, dummy. It says class president. I know. That's you?
I'm the most suitable candidate I know.
Yeah, so's your mom. Yeah, right.
Oh, no.
Yeah, wait.
And not only that, but the connection between player and character still stayed the same for me. I still wanted to dress Jimmy in heavier clothes during the winter missions and lighter clothes during the spring. I wanted Jimmy to arrive to class on time and succeed, to help him take over the school by interacting and taking control over the cliques. And most importantly, I wanted to help him learn sick new fighting moves from the hobo that lives behind the school. To me, those who call this GTA for Kids or GTA Junior are really doing such a great disservice and are frankly missing out on a truly unique and charming experience that still holds up to this day, at least for me. Even the block hands that every Rockstar Games character had during that time still holds a special place in my heart.
but look, who am I to let out their thoughts on a game that, to put simply, means the world to them, to you, who is, honestly, I'm never someone you've probably met before, and my opinion probably doesn't matter that much to you. But now that I've gushed about this game, it's time to finally conclude. Thank you, Rockstar Games, for making the game I've spent the most hours on, that I would reenact its cutscenes in my elementary school bathroom, that introduced me to the legendary musician Sean Lee, that has had one of the biggest impacts in my life, for giving my sister and I any chance to get closer, and for blessing this earth for 15 years. And thank you, Hollywood Video, for introducing me to this game. 15 years later, Rockstar Games' Bully still continues to leave an unforgettable mark on my life. Are there any other amazing games that Hollywood Video introduced me to? Well, that's for another time.